I'm ready. Cole?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Welcome to the Gear Slum, your one-stop shop for all things Star Culture nonsense. I'm Aaron.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Cole.
Weasel Menard, so you're gonna have to. Phil, have you watched any documentaries lately?
Yes.
Would you like to tell us about one
Yes, I have.
of them?
Yeah, absolutely, I would. So I've watched 2 episodes of, I'm assuming it's 3 total episodes of Trainwreck, Woodstock 99. The first episode was about Friday. The second
movie?
episode was about Saturday.
Oh.
And so then I'm assuming there's one more about Sunday. But
So like
Here's
each
the
episode
thing.
is a day. All right.
I believe so.
Cool.
So far. But here's the thing that made me mad is there's a guy, Michael Lang, I believe, is the name of the dude who is kind of like in charge of it. And I think it said at the beginning that he was part of like the original Woodstock.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And so there's like 3 boomers who are like putting on Woodstock 99, and they say straight up, like very clearly, Woodstock is amazing, blah, blah, blah. And they also say very clearly, we're trying to make as much money as possible.
Of course.
So then, like, as the documentary goes on, you start seeing like, okay, things are going south, and a number of the reasons things are going south is because they've been trying to maximize profit for the year of planning that has gone into this. And these boomers are mad at these Gen X kids
Yeah.
for not adhering to the spirit of Woodstock.
Right.
And that's when I got super, super angry because I was like, wait a minute.
It's just a freaking cash grab.
And you're not.
You're going to
sticking the
blame
spirit
this
of
on
Woodstock.
them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
like a very
You did
boomer.
this.
That's like a very boomer take to be mad at somebody else for
Yeah.
a problem you caused, you know?
Yeah,
Yes.
like I watched a little bit of it, and they cut so many corners and did all this stuff just to maximize profits that made it more dangerous and like less tenable and worse. And then, yeah, of course it's going to turn to chaos.
Yeah.
Cole,
I mean,
at one point,
they blame
So-
it on the music,
so-
which is such a the opposite of the spirit of Woodstock.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
wouldn't have happened if
Cool.
it wasn't new metal bands.
So Cole, everybody's walking up to
Which a lot should be
Everybody's
blamed
walking up-
on new metal bands, just for
Well, I
the
mean, yeah,
record.
for sure.
to like buy their tickets, and security is making them throw away their food
Yeah, throw
and
away your
drinks
water bottles
and
throw
their
away your food.
water. They're making them dump out their water, and then
Yeah.
inside a 3-day festival where it's 90 degrees on the first day and 100 degrees on the second day.
Like on asphalt.
There's no shade anywhere. And this is in 1999. This one woman said, buying a bottle of water in 1999 cost 65 cents. And at Woodstock, it was $4 for a 60-ounce bottle of water. It was $4. And
It's like $1,000 in today's money.
the kids are getting pissed, and they're getting unruly. And then these boomers are like, why aren't they just like pitching in and picking up trash?
Why don't they just comply?
Why don't you just be cool, guys? Let us profit off of you.
And it's like, you guys,
Yeah,
I-
it's the
I mean,
worst.
you-
They're the worst.
you could maybe pull that card if you were actually trying to do what happened in 1969, where it was not about making profit.
Yeah.
You were literally trying to do like peace and love and understanding, right? Like,
It's like, yeah, I
But-
understand charging enough for tickets that you like make your money back. But like if you're price gouging on food and water and like every little thing, that's
yeah,
bad.
yeah. It's so evil. And then to blame them,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
I mean, obviously there were some like
And
cultural issues in that time that were problematic that probably exacerbated things, but it's like you created this environment that fostered that and then you claim no responsibility for it.
right. Yeah.
It's freaking
Well,
hippies,
and
man. Hippies are the worst.
At another point, there was a dude who said he was 22 years old in 1999. He was the youngest person on the planning committee,
Mm.
and he was looking at the list of bands, and what they had done is all they had done is just looked at who the top selling
Right.
bands were. That's it. Who are the top selling bands? And they were just like,
Get those people.
get them,
Yeah.
get them. And this dude, I don't know his name. He's 22 years old. He goes, I don't know if it's a good idea, like, to have 250,000 people show up when we don't have the like security to manage bands. Like, I don't know what a crowd is going to do with Limp Bizkit and Korn and Rage
Yeah.
Against the Machine. And they were like, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. And he goes,
They're like,
well,
we like
have
corn.
you listened?
It
Like,
has the juice.
they were like, the guy goes,
Milk with nose.
at some point he said he realized that he was the only one in the room who had actually heard their music, and these other guys were like, no, we're getting these bands because they're the highest selling bands right now. And he's like, but you don't even, like, you don't know what they do. What they do is aggression. That's what they do.
Yeah, they incite
So-
aggression.
Yeah.
And they had never even heard them before.
All they want to do is
Dude.
they want to break stuff. Like it's just pure teenage angst. Is like that's
Yeah.
what Limp Bizkit is, and Korn. Which like, as much as I don't like those bands, like that has its place. Like I like
Yeah.
angsty music too, just not that particular brand of it. But it's like you have to you have to be cognizant of like what you're doing, and then it's like, and then you get all those people and you're like, okay, now we're gonna take all these like thousands of Limp Bizkit fans and make them listen to like Lisa Loeb
Yeah.
and like expect them just to be cool with it.
Maybe they'll pick up
So-
trash.
so
while Lisa
Aaron-
Loeb is
Yeah,
playing.
yeah.
So Aaron, you didn't listen to the day 2 episode.
I only watched like the first like 10 or 15 minutes of it,
So
of the
there's
first episode. I mean,
there's a portion of where Limp Bizkit is performing Break Stuff, and he is doing everything you'd expect. He's hyping up the crowd.
yeah,
As the song is building, like in the middle, he's telling the crowd,
break stuff.
I want you to
To
put
break stuff.
all of your problems, all of your
your
anger. When we go, when we kick in, I want you to kick in.
Yeah,
And then he starts screaming, give me something to break. And they literally started physically tearing the place apart.
yeah.
They
I
started
saw that
grabbing
in the other.
plywood and yanking it
one.
off of things. It was like,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're gonna break stuff. They're breaking everything.
Yeah.
They're literally
You told them to
ripping
break
into
stuff.
And
It's
it's like,
the name of the song.
but it's like also that wouldn't have been a big deal if they hadn't been like this tension brewing for the last 48 hours already.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they would have just
And
been
also-
like, oh, cool, let's mosh really hard or something.
And also, if the entire infrastructure wasn't so easily breakable,
Right.
Yeah.
because they
Right.
had
If it
cut
wasn't
every
just-
corner possible, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, wasn't it like they like built like a plywood wall around the thing, and they're like, "Oh, this looks ugly. Let's let people paint it." But it's still like just some trashy barrier that they put up. Like,
Yeah.
1999 was a wild time.
Yeah, dude. It was pretty extreme.
But it is interesting, like the narrative of Woodstock '99. Even people who were like in music, it's like a lot of it is blaming it on the bands. It's like I don't blame Fred Durst for that. Like he probably does that at every show. Like they're just playing it at a concert. You can't expect them to be like, okay, we're gonna play this song, but everyone just like be cool, just like be chill. Don't break anything.
There's in the documentary, there's a lot of guys blaming Fred Durst. They're like, it was his fault. He like riled them up, and then there's one guy who I don't know who he was, but he was like someone higher up in the planning committee, and he goes, I don't understand why people blame Fred Durst for that moment. It's like,
it's literally his job.
You can't tell, like, if you invite a bear to come into your house and then you're pissed because it like destroys your house and like eats everything, like, no, that's what the bear does. Like,
that's what they do.
You knew the bear would do that, and then you're like mad that the bear did what the bear always does. Like, no, that's
It's like you hire Bill Burr to like do your corporate thing, and you're like, why is he saying all these like politically incorrect jokes? Like, how dare you? Why would he do that? It's like that's what he does. That's who he is.
Exactly.
And as far as he knows, that's why you hired him to be there. Like Fred Durst isn't like, oh, I bet these people have never heard us before. That's why they got us on this festival. So we better like be calm now.
Yeah.
We got to keep the spirit of Woodstock. Like, no.
And also kind of like what you guys were saying before, like, even if it was like, okay, Fred, so we're paying you a lot of money to be here, and just so you know, the crowd is like kind of upset because the food is expensive and it's really hot and we haven't provided any shade from. So could you please take it easy? I'd be like, screw you. I'm not taking it easy because you guys can't get your stuff together. Like,
these kids are upset
that
we've been ripping them off.
Yeah.
And terrorizing them for 2 days.
Exploiting them for 2 days.
Yeah. Terrorizing them. Yeah. So could you please take it easy? Because we have been doing a bad job.
Basically intentionally screwing them too. It's like, how could you not have anticipated that? I mean, I don't know. I guess that it's crazy. It's just, it boggles the mind, like the greed involved in like making people dump out water bottles so that you can then make them buy new water bottles.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. But they were also saying like, didn't they say that like they hired a third party to do like all the concessions? So then,
yes,
I'm sure like part of that company's contract is like, okay, we'll do it, but you can't allow them to bring in anything from outside.
Right. They did it. They hired the third party because it was the cheapest way to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and then the other thing was the security. The guy, Michael Lane goes, of course we didn't have police officers because like that would like really hurt. Like, no, he said that would hurt. That would hurt what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
So we couldn't have law enforcement. So instead we had, I can't remember what their security didn't even say security. It had some stupid, stupid thing written on it. And this one guy that they were interviewing, he was 18 years old when he got the job. Like, hey, we'll pay you $500 a day to do security for this event.
Yeah, they're like day laborers.
Yeah. And he said that somebody came up and goes, hey, and there was no accountability for doing security.
Sure.
Somebody walks up to him and goes, hey, how much would it cost to get me backstage? And he's like, I'm not going to get you backstage. They're like, I'll pay anything. And he goes, well, the only way you could get backstage is if you're wearing a shirt like this. And then they're like, how much for the shirt? And he goes, $400. And this girl goes, okay, and gave him $400. He took the shirt off and he handed it to her. And then he walked around the corner and pulled the second one in his backpack out of his backpack and put it on.
Why didn't he just give her the one out of the backpack?
Because that would make
clean one.
that would ruin the mystique.
Oh, the
of what?
illusion. Then she's like, I'm not paying $400 if you have two of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just steal your backpack.
Yeah, now that I know I'm not actually taking your position, you know.
Yeah,
That's funny. He's like, I just
$400.
Yeah, that's like $20,000 in today's money. I love inflation humor.
It's
favorite.
great.
Do you ever watch like The Price is Right? Like the old. I used to watch a lot of Game Show Network when I was growing up, and like on the old Price is Right, they're like, "You want a new car? It's $2,000."
Yeah,
that always like boggled my mind as a kid. I was like, "Wait, what?" And it's like it's a pretty nice car. It's like almost $3,000. Like, wow. I could never afford that in my everyday.
Well, and it's crazy to see how some things change so drastically and others don't very much at all. You know?
Yeah. Like I know it's like really dumb, but every time I go to like Target or Walmart, I'm like, how are these flat screen TVs like $300?
Yeah, no, seriously.
Like, what is happening? I paid like $1,000 in like I remember graduating in like from college in like 2007, and we paid like $1,000 for like a 30-inch flat screen TV.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, oh, now I could buy like a 70-inch one for like $400, and it's way better.
This is the section of the podcast where we first criticize boomers and then become boomers.
No, but it's just like it's crazy. Like, but then I don't know. It's like it's just technology, you know. It gets cheaper, but it just boggles the mind.
Some of it gets cheaper.
Listen to this. Okay, someone said, on Facebook, some guy I'm friends with is like, what's better, The Breakfast Club from 1985 or Empire Records from 1995?
Oh my gosh, that makes me so angry.
How is that? No, I was like,
I was thinking Empire Records was older than that.
I was like, it's crazy to me that those movies are only 10 years apart.
Yeah.
Oh, that is weird.
Like that's like I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's
how is
wild.
that even possible? They seem like so vastly different. But I'm like, that's only because I'm old. Like, to anyone who's like under 30 now, like 1995 might as well be another planet.
Well, I wonder how much of that is influenced too by like because the technology in the movie is the technology that's like portrayed in the movie. Because on one hand, the difference in technology from 85 to 95 is enormous, but the technology displayed in the movie isn't like you don't really see anyone like emailing or anything in Empire Records.
Are there like cell phones in Empire Records? I don't know.
No, maybe like Rex has one or something because he's rich. But also like I wonder if part of it is influenced by the actual filmmaking technology. Like the film just looks better, you know?
Yeah, and like things are just different in the 90s than they were in the 80s.
Yeah.
Which, for whatever reason, like
way more different than they are from 2020, like from 2012 to 2022. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think
like stylistically even.
I think it also has to do with you, Aaron, going through like very dramatic changes in that 10-year period.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I watched Empire Records. Like I remember when it like watching it in like middle school, high school.
And you related to it like on a peer level.
I was 3 years old when Breakfast Club came out. So like by the time I watched that, it was like that's an old movie already.
Yeah, these are like
old it's like a period piece,
kids.
basically.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. So that's what I was thinking. Like I wonder how different. Like if someone, that's what I'm saying. Like someone 10 years younger than me would watch Empire Records and they're like, "Oh, this is like an old '90s movie." Even though
it is also crazy because people talk about how technology advances so much, but like it doesn't really that much anymore. At least hardware, especially.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like
software.
Yeah,
like AI gets better, and like I don't know what, like self-driving cars or something like that. But like the iPhone came out in 2008 or something, 2007.
Yeah,
and like we all still have iPhones that are basically the same, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if you went back and
they're just incrementally better.
Yeah, it's like crappy, but it's still like that was
like between 85,
forward.
like between 1990 and 2000, that is an insane jump.
Yeah,
like you went from like only rich people had CD players to like now I have Napster and I'm burning CDs on my home computer.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly.
And people have cell phones.
Well, just so I was listening to the Hills podcast, Aaron, and they were talking about how Brody made the point that like they all had cell phones, but they didn't have smartphones.
Yes,
and the way that they interacted with each other, he goes, I was watching the show and it was so crazy to watch the way that we interacted with each other because it was not that long ago, but then just that one difference of, you know, going from like cell phones to smartphones, people interact totally different. Like when you go and hang out, and this is not something that I've ever done, but like when a group of them go to the club and hang out now versus then, just a few years before smartphones, like they would talk to each other, and now they don't. Like they're everybody is on their own phone. Like
or you're like, oh, I'm gonna look something up real quick to like figure that out. Like Google, you always Google whatever you want anytime.
Like it ends a lot of conversations.
Partly on your phone.
Yeah. Well, and like people used to talk on the phone. Like I do everything I can to like text instead of talk on the phone.
Yeah, I hate talking on the phone. But it's bad. Like the results of it, it's not like a healthy thing.
Yeah.
To want to avoid speaking to somebody.
It's because if I text you, I can like text you and still not actually interact with you. It's just like,
and be doing something else or whatever.
Screen. I don't have to actually give you attention.
Yeah.
It's bad. If you're listening to this podcast and you're also scrolling on some other app, you are bad. You need to.
You're a bad person.
Stop it.
Burn in hell, probably for like a minute. For like a minute.
I mean, we all will.
For a minute, just for a minute. It's cool. You can come back. I'm not like.
Do you know what hasn't changed in the last 10 years?
No.
Is Phil's game.
Oh. He'll never change.
You do have a game.
Never changed. It was and is to come.
Oh, that's blasphemous, dude.
Is it?
Now you are going to spend a minute in hell.
In a minute.
Yeah, you just said that your game is Jesus.
Man and woman to pump me up.
I've only heard that song on TikTok.
Yeah.
Walking in my
There are many songs that I've only heard on TikTok, and then I hear them on the radio, and I'm like,
I got my head out the sunroof.
That's what the rest of that song sounds like. Okay, let's stop talking about TikTok and do our game.
Let's do this game today.
Okay. So
I'm gonna mute myself until you finish reading.
Good. This is everyone's favorite international game. Guess that pedal review. And our first game contestant of the evening is by Billy, 5-star review titled Custom Mode is Absolutely Perfect. United States, November 12th, 2021. I have zero complaints. I will always love the original Swedish Chainsaw tone on its standard mode, but the custom mode is indescribable. Usually have to tune my guitar to at least drop C to get the fabled chainsaw tone, but in custom mode, it works in all tunings. Most importantly, this pedal is insanely loud and is a hell of a lot less noisy than most clones. can finally say, I won't be chasing the perfect pedal effect name tone any longer.
It is the Boss HM2W.
HM2?
The Waza craft version.
Yeah, the Waza HM2.
Crap. Is that a thing that people say specifically about?
The Swedish Chainsaw is like a very...
that's a heavy metal, or the HM2 thing.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't know if it was like...
That's what the models are always called, in like a Helix or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's just the tone people refer to.
As soon as you said custom, I knew it was a Waza pedal.
Yeah.
That's good though. What happened was all the like Swedish death metal bands used the HM2.
That is a perfect example though of the fact that you really do have to be as annoyingly vague as you are. Yeah. Otherwise it ruins it.
Yeah, if you would have taken out Chainsaw, it would have been a lot harder to guess.
If I said Swedish and left off Chainsaw, no, I would have had to say remove Swedish Chainsaw.
Well, but I'm just saying it's a demonstration of the fact that you don't actually cut out too many words. You cut out Swedish just enough to make it interesting, because otherwise it wouldn't be interesting.
Yeah,
I try. Yes, and the only reason I did not cut that out is because
exactly
I was not aware that it was.
Yeah, you thought it was like a quirk of that reviewer to call it that.
The next review.
Okay.
All right, and
right. I thought it was a thing that he was making up. Okay, next review is by Deardon. 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 This is a 5-star review titled "It Does a Few Things and It Does Them Well." August 21st, 2021. I'm sure people vary, but having a pedal that does a few things really well is now more important to me than a multi-effects pedal that can do a million things. Now, I would rather have the 5 things on the multi-effects pedal that you truly like as separate pedals. You push a button, and hey, presto, it makes the sound you like. I gave my son the $350 pedal effect and use this for pedal effect instead, bearing in mind I have a Fender Twin with effect built in as my main effect. It does one more or less really good effect rather than 15. I have had to put it near the beginning of my effects chain because I use an overdrive Greer Lightyear boost and another effect, and all that boosting was too much for the pedal name and distorted the circuit in a really bad way. I love it for lead tones over chord progressions I record on my looper.
So is it a tremolo?
No.
Is it a delay?
A reverb? Wait, he said he had a twin?
Yes.
That has it built in? So this is a spring reverb some kind?
Is it a reverb?
Is it reverb?
Yes.
Oh. Why were you being so weird about it?
Because you said spring reverb.
Oh.
Did
he sell like a Big Sky? Did he give his Big Sky to his kid or something like that? Is that what he was saying?
He didn't say the brand.
Oh, he just said my $350 reverb pedal.
Yeah.
Is it a Hall of Fame too?
No.
Is it the Walrus one? The R1?
No.
It's just a reverb pedal.
Is it full tone?
No.
Does it have multiple types of reverb?
Yes. I mean, yeah.
Is it
Kind of like an RV
is it boutique?
6 or something?
It is boutique.
Is it a Keeley?
No.
Is it a company that's known for mostly digital effects?
No.
Is
it very well known?
Yes.
JHS?
No.
MXR?
No.
That's not
That's not
boutique.
boutique. Ah, jinx.
Oh, is it a Matthews? Is it like a cosmonaut or something?
No.
Is it it's not a walrus pedal?
No.
Is it a Keeley? I said that already. Boutique? Is it like
is
a
it a Strymon?
No, Cole. Aaron, what'd you say?
Maris?
No.
I'm thinking the Maris is what he gave to his kid. Is it like super boutique or is it one of the big box boutique brands?
No, it's a bigger
BBBs.
boutique.
It's one of the BBBs.
It's not
boutique.
JHS. Oh, is it the Wampler? Is it a Wampler? So we said Wampler, Keeley, JHS.
Yeah,
What are the
it's
big
not that
ones
Source
out?
Audio one. I get Source Audio
Bill's drinking his Nalgene.
No.
and Maris mixed up.
Yeah.
Source, like in your mind, that's like a reasonable thing to confuse, right?
Yeah, I think Source Audio is a little bit more mainstream, and Maris is a little bit like quirkier. But
So it's one of
yeah,
the.
they have very
is it
similar
Earthquaker?
oh, nice.
Yes.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
It's not the Ghost Echo.
which one is it?
Is it the Avalanche Run?
No.
Is it? It's
Is-
just reverb and nothing else.
It has
No.
multiple modes on it. It's not like. Is it the Afterneath?
No.
Wait, does it have multiple modes?
That's what you said.
Not really.
He said it
Oh.
does a few things well, but
Oh, is it the Dispatch Master?
Yes.
There we go.
Oh,
Okay.
that's got delay on it too.
69 points for Cole.
And it is a spring reverb. I mean, it's
Is
like
it?
it's
a
like an
delay and
analog
reverb.
delay
Yeah,
and a spring reverb, basically, or maybe it's an.
It
yeah.
might. I don't know. I can't remember, but it's a very like kind of standard, like tame
Like
kind
the
of
selling
reverb
point
sound.
is that it's very like basic.
I
Like
think
it
it's-
has
is
two knobs for.
Yeah, it's like delay knob and reverb knob, right?
Well, it has 4 knobs. So it has 2 for each effect.
Oh,
so like
okay.
it has repeats and like time on the
Oh, yeah.
delay, and then it has, I don't know. Like
I think it has like a
level
reverb and then a blend
or
or
something.
something. Yeah,
It
it's a cool. It does sound great. That's a great.
I own one and I use it. It's
Nice.
great. I wonder though if it's like what type of reverb it actually purports to have.
I was thinking it was like maybe just like a hall kind of thing.
Maybe
but
so, yeah.
Just kind of like a nondescript.
That is a great like
reverb.
I kind of agree with like getting rid of your crazy multi effects and getting a Dispatch Master though. Like I totally can,
Yeah,
that's like a totally valid thing to do. So, anyways, we're losing
massive
Phil.
reverb is able to produce everything from subtle ambience to a shimmering pool of echo.
Yeah, it does kind of have a little bit of shimmer on it.
It's just like a digital.
Maybe it's
style reverb.
yeah, maybe that's just kind of a digital reverb. It's like their own whatever.
Yeah, it's not
Okay,
really.
Phil, do you have another one for us?
Yep.
Specifically, is it?
Okay. The last
All right, hold on.
review du
Let
jour.
me mute myself one more
Good.
time.
Good job, Aaron. Good job muting yourself. Everybody, mute. Aaron actually muted himself. He's muted, and he's not going to talk while I read. But I am watching my colleagues
Making
make.
inappropriate hand gestures.
Oh, is that soaking? That's soaking. That's what that is.
Aaron's doing a soaking gesture.
He's doing a soaking gesture. Still on mute. Still on mute. Very, very good. Okay. The last review du jour is by Amazon buyer. Clever name. This is a 4-star review. A decent effect with some weirdness. This is May 5th, 2022. I like this effect on my board, although it's kind of a pedal that does one thing and the knobs don't do much. The depth knob doesn't affect like other effect I've used. Not that it's a huge problem, since high depth on effect tends to sound ridiculous. But this pedal seems to be going for subtlety, as I have to max the depth to get the effect to affect the input nicely. Kind of strange. Once it's dialed, it's great, but there are probably better effect pedals out there with more control and variety.
Is it like flanger or phaser?
No.
Is it a chorus?
Is it tremolo?
It is a chorus.
How many knobs
But
does it have?
subtle?
Aaron, that is an excellent question.
Thank you.
It has 5 knobs.
It's not a TC Electronic Corona.
No.
Oh, is it that MXR analog chorus?
Yes.
Is it really?
69 points for
I always remember because
Cole.
they're tiny little knobs, right?
And
Yes.
they're like in a row, right? Or are they like in an X?
They're like
shape?
offset.
It's 2
Oh,
and
it's
3.
It's like a
It's like a
normal
W,
size pedal
like a
that has
W.
5 little knobs on it.
Yeah.
Dude. I got one
Very
right for
cool.
once.
Very. You
I-
got 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really got 3 of them. I just said it first, but
Oh yeah, because I got the
I
Dispatch first.
I disagree with him that it's not good. I think that's a great freaking pedal for
I thought he said it was good, but like the knobs don't do anything.
It's just
That's what he
subtle,
said.
right?
That's
The
what he
range
said.
it doesn't have the range he's expecting, right? I mean, he's saying normally if you turn the depth all the way up, it goes ridiculous, but on this, it doesn't.
Yeah, I see.
But it sounds like he doesn't want it to be ridiculous, so it's a weird complaint, right?
Yeah, it is a weird complaint. Why can't I have
This
a pedal
doesn't do
that does a thing
anything
that I don't want it to do?
That I don't want. Yeah, I want it to do things I don't want, so that I can.
That some
not
pedals do.
them.
But I don't want it to, anyways.
I want to have the option to sound bad if I like want to sound bad.
Yeah, but I don't want to.
Stupid idiot. Oh, so I was watching this this Sweetwater video that was like with Josh Scott, and he was going through the top he had a list of the top 1,000 selling pedals that from Sweetwater, and he was like going through the top 500 and like picking random ones out and talking about them. But what do you think the number 1 selling pedal from Sweetwater is?
Is it a tube screamer? Is it a Total Shock?
It's not a Tube Screamer. It's
DS1?
a little shocking. It's not a DS1.
Am I close though?
Kind of.
Is it Boss?
It's not Boss. I'll tell you this. It's very cheap.
Oh, is it a Soul Food?
Even cheaper.
Oh,
Like significantly cheaper.
do we even know what it
Cheaper
is
than
then?
Soul Food?
You would have heard of it. It's a very well known brand and a pretty well known pedal.
Oh,
It's cheaper than Soul Food, and we know what it is.
It's
one
way
of the-
cheaper than Soul Food.
Is it one of those TC $50 pedals?
It is not, but that is close because of
Is it Behringer?
it's a Behringer pedal. Yes.
No, one of the plastic ones. The
Yeah.
Behringer Distortion.
No.
Just
Oh,
tell
which
us.
one is it?
It's the Behringer SF300 Super Fuzz. $29
Oh, the
fuzz
orange-
pedal.
the orange one.
Yep.
Yeah.
$29.
That's the number 1 selling, I'm pretty sure all time number 1 selling pedal from Sweetwater.
All time, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, how long has that been around? 10 plus years?
Yeah, probably.
$29.
But it's one of those things that's like it's so cheap that like you can just buy it on a whim and it doesn't really matter.
It's crazy though that like if you had $30 to spend on a pedal, yeah, I mean a lot of it is probably like parents buying it for their kids or something.
Yeah, but if you have $30 to spend on a pedal, like what else are you gonna get that's like good?
I mean, you're gonna get something used, right? Like we are, but that's not the normal. Like,
but even $30, like there's not a whole lot you can
get
used.
It's
even
true.
At $30.
It is weird how like even a pedal that's $60 new,
isn't
going to drop
like
all the way.
$40-$50.
Yeah, because what's the difference if it's 40 or 30? Like, no, I'll pay 40, whatever.
Exactly. Isn't that crazy?
That was like, so funny.
That's pretty wild. It's like it's that, and then I think the Rat was number 2. And then there's like a bunch. Is that a bunch of loopers?
The Rat has had like a total renaissance too, right?
Yeah. And
I wonder.
It's interesting because the Rat is both mainstream and like kind of like it's like a cult following too. So if you're like, I need a distortion pedal, you're like, oh, this is $100 distortion pedal. I'll buy that one. Like everyone knows the Rat. It's like I went to Sam Ash the other day and I took in like a boutique pedal that I was like just trying to get rid of quick, and the dude's like, I've never even heard of this. Like everyone has heard of the Rat. Like you're not going to take it in and they're like, oh, I've never heard of this.
Well, and it also went through that cycle of like it was lesser known, and then it was super mainstream, and then it became you didn't see it a lot for a while because boutique pedals kind of took over.
Yeah.
It
like in the early
cool.
the early 2010s, and now it's totally back, right?
Yeah.
Like people want to have a Rat on their board.
And I think Tube Screamer probably suffers because there's so many clones, and also there's like, do you get the 808 or do you get the TS9?
Yeah.
Or like the Maxon 808. Like there's so many like, versions.
There's too many of them.
That it's like probably if you combined all of them, Tube Screamer style pedals.
And I feel like there's a lot. I feel like Tube Screamers, a lot of the other Tube Screamers, people recognize as having improvements. But there's a ton of Rat clones out there, and a lot of people still say like, well, the Rat is still one of the best. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a more common thing with Rat pedals than it is with Tube Screamers, I feel like.
Yes.
Dude,
so like funny. You can get the plumes for $99, which is like the same as you would pay for a Ibanez Tube Screamer, and it has way more options. Like it's way better, arguably. Whereas if you buy like another $100 Rat clone, it's like this is just a Rat.
And it really is like there have been versions, but they're like obfuscated, right? It's like and
like the Rat 2, like when they put it in the new box, like it hasn't really changed since then.
Totally.
I don't think. I mean, I'm sure internally maybe there's been some changes, but it's not like they put out a new version.
Remember the little Rat?
Yeah, it still exists.
Yeah. Well, that's like pretty new, isn't it?
Yeah, it just came out like.
Remember the Rat cable,
dude? Yes,
the rat tail.
A rat tail. The little Rat is so little, it's like insanely.
It's weirdly.
Little.
It's like, why would you?
It's such a funny little.
It looks like a little amp channel switch.
Yeah, it's probably what it is. And then
the picture,
has like the tiny little knobs too.
The pictures of it don't really. They don't give you a good idea of the scale. It needs to be like next to a pencil or something, you know.
You
like
got to focus on the foot switch though, and look how big the
foot
looks on
and the jacks.
pedal.
When you look at the back, the jacks look enormous. It's so weird.
It's so tiny.
Like who was asking? I get like I want a Rat, but I want it to be smaller. But at the same time, like I feel like we're kind of past the point of like pedal board real estate.
Yeah.
Aren't we a little bit?
It seems like it.
Well, especially because the Rat had top jacks anyways, which on a lot of people's boards saves space, right?
And there's so many, like there's so many new. Like I feel like pedal boards were limited in like what your options for an actual pedal board were before, and now there's like massive pedal boards that you can get that are like you don't have to worry about what you can.
Like, hey, I got this shelf at IKEA, and I can only fit what I can on it. You know?
Yeah. It's not like as standardized as it used to be.
It's so small.
It's really cute. It's adorable.
You know what else is adorable?
No.
Friendship.
Oh dang, bro!
Friendship is adorable.
I actually wasn't keeping track of the time, so I don't know if it's time for friendship, but
I think
I want it
been
to be.
plenty of time. It's been plenty of time. You know what? Friends are friends forever if the Lord is the Lord of them. And a friend will not say never, because a friendship never ends. It's hard to let you go, but in the Father's hands we know that a lifetime's not too long to live as friends. So everyone out there, especially you, Phil, and you, Cole, thanks for friendship.
His name is Colch.
Colch. Just call me Colch.
I was thinking you could spell it like Colech, but then it would be like Kolech.
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 College.
Is that Kolech?
I'm going to college. I have to get good grades so I can go to college.
College.
Mr. George. That's one of my favorite guys.
That guy is so good.
It's very funny.
Oh, man.
It's quality tent.
Well, this was fun, guys.
Yeah, that was fun.
Fun guys.
Now I have to wake up tomorrow morning and go get cavities filled, and one of them might need a root canal, and they don't know yet.
Oh, dang. Phil, get this if you can find it. It's good.
What's the...
It's the Stone 26th anniversary IPA.
So 26% ABV?
It's a 9.7.
9.7, not bad. Does it come in a tall can?
No, it comes in 6-pack of 12s, or it comes in like a bomber.
Does it come in a
A
40?
bomber?
Yeah, you can get it in a bomber.
Is that
Is that
It's
a
like
40?
It's like a no.
is that
it's
a
like
pint?
It's like a pint and a half or something. I don't know.
Bomber.
Like 500 mil. I think it's like a half liter.
The bomber is a U.S. It's 22 ounces. But I just love that this says the bomber is a unit used to measure beer volume. And this website says the bomber is a U.S. standard size bottle. Oh, it's just saying, okay. It's saying, I thought that it was saying bomber is like a standard unit.
Oh.
So what does it look like? It's like just like a 20-ounce bottle, I guess, right?
It looks
It's
like a big
like a-
bottle. Yeah.
It's like
It's just like a
beer bottle.
scaled up beer bottle.
Yeah.
Because how much is in a beer bottle? 12 ounces?
12, yeah.
Okay.
Usually 12, yeah.
Yeah, and a pint is what, 16, like 16.9 ounces, I think.
That's a liter.
That sounds right.
No.
No, that's not a liter.
It must be like a half liter. A half liter, like 500 milliliters, which is like a metric pint.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is 16.9 ounces. I don't know.
Yeah. It is a
Do you
pint.
say different from or different to?
Different from.
That's like a US versus UK thing too, right?
Yeah.
Like my sister-in-law's from Australia and she
Probably.
says different to,
Yeah.
which seems so weird to, like it literally doesn't make sense in my mind.
There was this video. This is part. It's always like validating to look at comments. There was this video, and I can't remember what it was. It was like a pretty compelling subject in the video, and the person narrating kept saying, she was like telling, oh, this crazy thing just happened. There was this thing underneath of this other thing, and she kept saying underneath of, and like every comment was about that.
Underneath of.
And it was like an interesting video, but they were like, why are you saying underneath of? Which is like, on one hand, that was also my first thought, but then it's like, man, do we really have to make everybody self-conscious about every little,
right.
different thing they do?
Underneath of. Yeah, like some people say Beethoven, like let it go.
Exactly. Some people
can't
say
let
the
that go.
Imagine Dragons.
Now that I'm 40, I'm gonna say I'm just leaning into Beethoven. I'm going full bore.
I mean, it's too late to change, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna before we end, I'm gonna tell a short story that is my son being
Wait,
funny and my
did we not
mother-in-law
end
being. Well, we're still recording.
No, go for it.
So my mother-in-law is 90 years old.
My mother-in-law, 90 years old.
And
Battle axe.
she cannot hear, but she refuses to acknowledge that she can't hear.
Give her a break, Phil. She's 90 years old.
Yeah, she is 90. So we're leaving our house to drive to their house for dinner, and we were running late. And Kathy says, "Oh, I'm going to call my mom to tell her that we're running late." And so she picks up the phone and calls her on speaker. First mistake. Calls her on
She's
speaker.
like, no worries. I've got nothing but time.
Calls her on speaker from the car and says, "Hey, Mom." And she goes, "Hey, honey." And so all three of us are in the car, me, my wife, and our son. And she goes, "Hey, honey." And Kathy goes, "Hey, Mom, we're running late. We'll be there in like 20 minutes. And she goes, 10 minutes? And Kathy goes, "No, 20 minutes. And she goes, "Okay, 10 minutes. And I go, "No, Gene." And like, now I'm like louder because this is on speaker. I'm like louder than my wife by like, twice as much. I go, "No, Gene, 20 minutes. And she goes, "All right, honey, we'll see you in 10 minutes. And she hangs up the phone.
Dude, I hope she's just trolling you. How great would that be?
Josiah bursts out laughing and goes, "She's so old. Her ears are so old." And we try really hard to like not like, say negative things about
ageism.
Grandma in front of him. But like, I could not contain myself. I laughed so freaking hard.
That's great.
That's very
at
funny.
him. Just
her
like
ears are so old.
Her ears. Her ears are
It's
so
a great
old.
line.
And then he kept saying it. Then this is what's even better. Is the all weekend he goes, "All right, honey, 10 minutes." And then he'd laugh really hard.
Oh, that's great. He's got a good sense of comedy.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's so many ways you could have like made a callback to that moment that would not have been very funny, but that's
that's
very
great.
funny way to do it.
Yeah, he just randomly says it.
All right, honey, 10 minutes.
Oh man,
that's the episode time.
And he's like making fun of her, but he's also like a tiny bit trolling you too.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Because I was like
so annoyed
at
it, Yeah. That's good.
That's very good.
Okay,
not excellent, but very good.
This is very good.
Right,
this is a 4 out of 5.
Right.
Yeah.
Just very like the chorus pedal here.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for friendship.
Thanks for friendship.
Thanks for friendship.